people. One, that type of treatment destroys people. The torture, that detention destroys people severely, mentally and physically. And we really don't, a lot of times, think about this. We think that someone got released and they're fine, people are very happy. And it is a good thing that a person is released. But in places like these, if my, in my case, I'm extremely blessed. Coming back here, I had the best possible medical treatment. My brother is a medical doctor, that gets you places, by the way, in hospitals. Because the case is a very high-profile case here in Canada, so you get doctors whom I don't even know. They would treat me, they would ask what they could do. But think about the place, and with all that, by the way, there are things that I have which doctors haven't been able to figure out or fix. And there are things which are not fixable. There are things which are permanent damage, from that treatment. But the other side is the psychological side, and a lot of people don't realize this, especially in places like Syria now. So people get detained, people get released, and people have no way to even treat the injuries, the physical injuries, let alone the psychological injuries. Women get out and raped, and no one has a way to even deal with that. The men who they become very edgy, when you tell them there's something called PTSD, they have no idea what it is, but they know that people are edgy. People get very upset very quickly. They snap very quickly. Marriages are destroyed because the wife can't take the man anymore. She can't understand why he's behaving the way he's behaving. So let's start that. So that leaves people with many, many challenges. And the whole family is affected. So if you have 500,000 detainees who they went in and out, that means you have about 3, 4, 5,000 million people, depends on the size of these families, they're all of them affected. Now, people who are not detained, how they're affected in Syria. This is actually a picture which is not a Photoshop. This is a picture in Daraya. The house is owned by someone called Kholani, family Kholani, and these are two people. These two guys, their brother was wanted, not themselves. The regime raided the house, so these were not in jail, not in the hands of the regime, but they raided the house because they wanted their brother. They killed both of them. The owner of the house they were in, his son, we heard so much recently about people being killed by being burnt, which is a terrible thing. They burned the son of the owner of the house, killed him, and they killed these two. This is their blood. This is not a photoshop. The one who took this picture, his name is Shahr Ma'tomani. He was killed later, not, but he's the one who took this picture. And I got this picture from his cousin, who was there present when this happened. Now the people who they are not done that way, this is a family, this is family of Sulaiman, Abu Yasser, Sulaiman. These are the grandchildren. His wife, his 2 sons, and his daughter-in-law, and all these grandchildren, all of them were killed with a barrel bomb. This picture was taken while they were besieged in the outskirts of Damascus. And they were making a meal, and actually the brother who took it, he said, well, when we want to take a picture, all of them stood and paused for the picture. You wonder as if, somehow last picture that was taken for them. All of them died with a barrel bomb. So most of these, they flee, either they're in jail, or they get, the lucky ones are not in jail. They get killed by barrel bombs or other ways, or massacres, or get burned alive. This is how one city, which is Daraya, it's a town outside Damascus, this is how it looks like. This is a place where 500,000 people live. This is how it looks like. They flee, refugees in Lebanon. This is actually a picture last month from Lebanon. The snow is about 15 centimeters. I was speaking with a brother in Lebanon and talking, and we're talking. He said, how is it? I said, it's really cold in here now today. That day was -9. I said, it's pretty cold here. And So how much? He said -9. He said, well, it's the same as here then. I said, it's impossible. You know, this is Canada, but you're in Lebanon. It can't be -9. And we thought it turned out it's -9. It's frozen. The land is frozen. You know, the water, if melted, it's frozen. They don't have water to drink because it was frozen. They have to melt the water in order to drink. That was Lebanon. Next one. This is a child died because of the cold in Lebanon as well. Just last month, by the way, all these. Yeah, 3 million. These are most conservative estimates. You know, people like to say, well, millions, fine. Even the most conservative estimates, the most conservative, are frightening. When you have more than 3 million people, refugees outside Syria, 6 million displaced within Syria, that's more than the population of Norway. More than the population of Norway. Whole country like Norway, that's more. According to Stefan de Mistura, Special UN Envoy to Syria, he said a couple of weeks, well, more than a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Syria already represents the worst humanitarian disaster since World War II. And from speaking with the UN personnel, a number of them, they work on Syria file, people who they work on detention centers, or people work on massacres, or people work on humanitarian aspects. All of them, they said they have never seen in their professional life a worse place than what they have seen in Syria. Let me finish with this story about, you know, today it's about children. One of the guys who they were detained with me, I was released. He was detained for years later, and unfortunately, he still, until now, doesn't have his freedom. He has a son named Hamza. His aunt was telling me this story. He went and had a chance to visit his dad. When he came back, and they thought it's a unique opportunity. You don't get actually to do this. And they were able, the family, to go and visit him. And the child, who was 11 years old, saw his dad and touched the hand of his dad. They went back home, and the aunt, she really felt the kid was very troubled, very sad, very upset. She asked him, what is it? You know, she thought he would be happy. You know, what is it? Why are you upset? Why are you sad? Why? So, well, when I saw Baba, when I saw Dad, he said, you know, he really emphasized I should not skip my prayers. I should, you know, keep on and pray all the 5 times and pay attention to the Salah. But to make Salah, I have to make wudu, and I don't want to wash away the smell of my dad from my hands. That's one kid missing his dad. Now we have thousands on thousands of children not only missing their dads because they're detained, but a lot of them are orphans. They don't have a dad to see anymore. Thank you very much.